Hi everyone, so in today's episode of Dolly Designs, I'm going to be making a bunch of cardboard backdrops for my dolls. I make these all the time and I do show them in Dolly diaries pretty often because I'll catch sales at Michael's where you get like 3 pads for the price of 1 scrapbook paper, but because obviously I haven't been able to go out to Michael's and buy scrapbook paper, I decided to take advantage of this opportunity that I'm stuck at home so much and make a bunch of backdrops from recycled materials. That's not to imply that maybe I didn't find a cool sticker sheet that accented what I was working on and stuff, but for the most part these are just things laying around. You can use all kinds of materials, wrapping paper, old calendars, box art from dolls, certificates of authenticity from dolls, anything that you can really think of that you can glue down that will lay pretty flat will work, so I hope you enjoy. Currently I have 2 of these big boxes. This is the large size at Walmart. Unfortunately, the ideal kind that I used in my step-by-step tutorial, they don't make anymore it seems, but this slightly different dimension does work as well. It's just kind of more annoying. What I'm going to be using today are all of these recycled Mary-Kate and Ashley things that I had since I was growing up. I got a bunch of these posters with dolls, and all of these are actually my childhood posters except this one here that I got with a Super Spot A Mary-Kate for my 20th birthday. And you can tell that some of them aren't in the best condition because they were hung up for so long. And then I have all of these like little magazine cutouts and things because back in the day my dad would buy me magazines that had Mary-Kate and Ashley in them because he knew I liked collecting the dolls. So while I've never been a fan of the actresses per se, I'm not really a celebrity person. When I get really into the dolls of something, it's cool to have little I don't know, pictures of the real people. And I did show these things in my Mary-Kate and Ashley collection video, if I'm not mistaken, from 4 years ago. And I have a bunch of other things in this binder. This is where I keep different posters and certificates and things. So if they have any if they're attractive looking or they're important, I will keep them. And I've already made a bunch of Bratz ones. I used to have a lot more in here, but you can see I even have some that are from American Girl, the old pamphlets. So some of them I don't have enough to make backdrops with now, but I definitely have enough Mary-Kate and Ashley stuff. Now, this isn't my first time laying these things out. A few weeks ago, I want to say, I kind of played around with these to see if I had enough before I committed to buying the contact paper. So the way I decided to do it is all of these posters for the most part have these long flip out things which I'm going to cut off and save because some of these little advertisements for other movies and TV shows and books will be useful to fill in gaps. Some of them I already have done that because I made a backdrop previously with my old Mary-Kate and Ashley calendar from 2005. This one was already cut. So I decided that with my Bratz posters, I didn't want to have them fully standing, but the Bratz I kind of trimmed off parts of it so it was more in frame when I photographed. But because I really like the way Mary-Kate and Ashley is written up the side, and when I do take photos they're a little bit taller than Bratz, I figure I am going to keep the posters at full length, and then I'll just fill in the top here with these magazine cutouts as I see fit. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut the excess off. And if you're wondering why I have doubles of a lot of these posters, it's obvious that one came with Mary-Kate and one came with Ashley. So if I had both dolls from a set, I ended up with 2 of the same posters. So I'm just going to set those aside. And even though this one has some damage to it, I'm not going to bother cutting that off. I'm just going to keep it so it matches the other one. And the nice thing is all of the Mary-Kate and Ashley posters that came with my dolls seem to be a pretty standard size, so they're going to line up nicely. Now for now I'm just going to move these magazine clippings out of the way. So since I have duplicates of some of them, I want to arrange them a bit symmetrically. So, for instance, I have 2 of these, so I'm going to put 1 on each end. And then I have 2 of these. So I like how that looks. And you can see they're all the same height, which is nice. Now the problem with a lot of these magazine cutouts is there's going to be some empty space, and you can see some of them are kind of torn from where I ripped them out. So I'm just going to trim off kind of the bottom of this that I don't really need. And then likewise, I'm going to put these at kind of opposite ends. I also have some of these smaller pictures, because I don't care about the articles, so I can cut out some of those and fill in some blank spaces. So you can see that some of these have like little rough edges. So what I'm going to do is, rather than trim them down, I'm just going to kind of overlap things so you can not see the raw edges. And then some of these things, like some of these articles aren't very nice. Like you can see that they're, it's gossip. So I'll be covering up like some of the, those things with other pictures, because I don't really care about reading the articles. It's just nasty gossip about people. And there is a lot of extra cardboard, but I don't trim that down until everything's glued, just because I find if I try to trim it ahead of time, I might cut too much off, and I'd rather have a little extra. And then this is just, this is actually Elmer's glue in here in a Mod Podge container. So the last thing I'm going to do is cover it with clear contact paper. Now this is not the size I usually buy. I usually like the 12 by 36 inch rolls. However, this is the 18 by, I forget how long, but it's there's less yardage, but it's taller. So we're going to do that. So I had at Walmart. Now the reason I don't usually like using this taller stuff is because obviously it's not like the 12 by 36 roll I usually get. If I were to lay this on top, it would be way taller than I need, and trying to fold it over or cut it down kind of just ends up wasting contact paper. So what I do in these instances is I'll just fill in the rest with tape, and that seems to work out just fine. And now I'm going to trim the excess off. I'm not going to trim it off of the far end there because I'm not really sure what I'm using on the reverse side. But I am going to trim off the top because I do know that this is actually a little bit taller than my typical backdrops. So I don't need, oops, that much space. And I like to use this yardstick to guide me. Okay, so for the reverse side, I want to make something for my American girls. I bought this pen pal pack at the Salvation Army a few years ago, probably about 3. It's in one of my old episodes of Dolly Diaries. And we bought it because it was just really pretty classic American Girl illustrations from the older characters. So these were the characters I grew up with. So like the 6 Pleasant Company characters, and then Kit and Kaya. The important thing is, if you're doing like a double-sided backdrop, is obviously I left some extra because I'm not sure how much length I'm gonna need, but you want to make sure to start like at the same end as the backdrop on the other side. So if I were to start all the way over here, what would happen, that's nice, is I would be starting on all this empty space, so I wouldn't be able to cut it off, and that's just going to make it take up more room when you fold it up for storage. So I'm going to start over on that side. Now honestly, I don't know how much space all of this stuff is going to take up. So like you can see I have some stickers, this is just some ribbon. There are illustrations on some of these books that I might be able to use, and obviously the packaging itself. This is just like a notepad thing that I might actually just use for writing a grocery list, because it's not going to be great for this. But these are all like the colorful envelopes and postcards. And same with these. And then I can use the packaging if I need to. So these are all like the envelopes. And there's quite a few of them. And then there's these that are also kind of like envelopes. And there are a few postcards. And I think I'm going to have to use like different stickers and things to cover up. So I'm going to take a few minutes and kind of lay this stuff out and then show you what I come up with. Alright, so I tried to lay all of the postcards and envelopes and things down to see if it would cover the cardboard enough on just their own by overlapping. But I noticed that that just wasn't going to be the case, especially since American Girls are taller and bigger, so I want to make sure to take up as much space as possible. So I had all of this leftover scrapbook paper. Back when I originally started making backdrops with pads of scrapbook paper, I wouldn't use every sheet, so these were kind of the leftovers. Most of these are from a desert-themed pack, and I thought that they would work well because a lot of these characters, like Josefina and Kaya and Addie and Kirsten, they have a very like outdoorsy feel, and Molly, Kit, and Samantha work well with the color schemes too, and these are pretty muted colors. So some of these were like double fold out envelope things, so what I did is I trimmed them down, and you can see there was like little holes too that were punched through to tie ribbon, so that's also why it works better to have paper on the backdrop. And then some of the envelopes, you can see like they have these ugly to and from things, but the back side had really pretty illustrations, so for the ones that had nice back sides, I used the backs. But then this one with Molly just had a plain blue back, so I just trimmed out the portion of the picture that was usable. And now I'm gonna glue everything down. So I finished assembling my American Girl backdrop. The camera died right when I was about to start gluing, and I wanted to finish it because if Oliver came in here and Andy came in here and they saw a big piece of cardboard with paper, they would get excited and they would have climbed all over it and ruined my layout. So this is what it looks like. And I'm really glad I actually went for the scrapbook paper behind it because it makes each picture stand out. And some of these stickers came from the Pen Pal set, and then others of them came from these Hallmark sticker sheets we had for Addie and Molly that we got as kids. Some of these are actually pieces of the packaging that came with the set. And I do have a few little scraps left over that had not as great pictures. Like this one came from, I believe, the booklet that told you how to like write letters. But I really like how this turned out. Colleen already used it for the thumbnail because she was so enchanted with it, right?
I love it, and I have grand plans.
It came out really cute. Yeah, like this was a piece of the actual packaging. This is how the Mary-Kate and Ashley one came out. And I actually like this a lot more than I thought I would. It brings me so much nostalgia seeing my beautiful posters I had as a kid. This was my favorite one. I loved Ashley's hair in this one. And also these magazine clippings. You can see where I glued like some of the smaller cutouts to cover up things. Looks really great. Like this is a really good picture of Mary-Kate, and this one was a really good picture of them together. And like this was actually two different pages. They had like a timeline of pictures of them, so I was able to overlap it onto this magazine picture that was from a different magazine altogether. And these were the things that came at the bottom of the posters. I really like how that turned out. And this is a Disney background I made off camera. I constructed it late at night when we were watching something. So I did have to use some leftover scrapbook paper from different books. And then a lot of this is just like cutouts from boxes, and some of these things are like little tattoos that came with random dolls. I did buy a Disney sticker book. You can see some of those stickers, but some things came with fashion packs. These actually came with my childhood sparkling jasmine. And some of these cardboard things were actually on display, but I took them off to use them here. And I think it looks really cool. I also had certificates of authenticity that had cool pictures that I cut up, because I don't think you really need a certificate of authenticity. You can kind of tell it's authentic. Yeah, it looks really cool. And some of these are pop-up characters too. So for my last project in this backdrop video, I will be making an LOL inspired background, because I have a lot of these cute little flyers that come with the dolls that have like the collector series things on the back. And I got quite a few from eBay with some dolls I bought, as well as some stickers. I was really excited that they came with all of these. And then I have cutouts from the box that came with my LOL house. I don't know how these will work, but we'll try. And then I have actually all the tissue paper that was wrapped, or most of the tissue paper that was wrapped around everything in the LOL house box. I thought that this would be really cute to save because you can see it's printed. I bought these in the party section at Walmart. This is like a happy birthday banner, and I think I'm just going to take it apart and use like the little letters all around it. And this sticker book, which is magnificent. It has all of these amazing stickers that I also got from Walmart's party section. This was, I think, $3, and this was like $2. I spent less than $5 on those things, but they were just too cute to resist. So I'm gonna get to it. I can already tell that I'm gonna need some of this polyene cardstock, because obviously if I take the tissue paper and I put it over the cardboard, you're gonna see the color cardboard, so we don't want that, and I'm not gonna have enough pamphlets to cover the entire thing. So I do have some like pink sheets and purple sheets. I am all done. It looks so awesome. I used that entire sticker book. And I really love how the tissue paper looks now that all the glue is dried and it's underneath the clear contact paper. You can see that it looks like the paper was printed that way. So if you ever get cool tissue paper with a design on it, you can overlay it. And it did give everything kind of a uniform pink hue, which is great because I had to use some of this teal paper, but I actually like the way it contrasts on it. And I spread out the letters so they didn't spell happy birthday. And I did cut like certain pieces out of these pamphlets. When they were folded out, they didn't contribute to this side. I love it. It came out so awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Dolly Designs. I'm sorry that I didn't film like every little part, but so much of it is just gluing and repetitive motions that I didn't want this video to be too long and too boring. So I hope this maybe could give you some ideas if you're bored and you want to make backdrops. You definitely don't have to buy like big boxes like I do. I just like a certain size because we do so many photographs and for like things like thumbnails and Flickr posts. But if you don't have those boxes available but you have something smaller and you want to decorate that, as long as your dolls can like stand in front of it and you have a little room around it to accommodate for cropping, it should work. So thanks for watching, and until next time, love your dolls, love yourself, and love your life.